What an intro. Special Christmas intro. Nonetheless, welcome everybody to Monday Night Live. It is I, Alex McCarthy, SP3, my usual right-hand man, is right there. And of course, the godfather of all things inside the ropes, Kenny McIntosh in the house too. And look how festive we are. Look at us. 'Tis the season. Oh my word. I used to have that jumper. No joke. It doesn't fit me anymore. I wish it did.
Barely fits me, pal. Barely fits me.
It looks better on you, Kenneth. Don't you worry about it. Welcome, everybody. ITR Clips is the channel. All you need to do is subscribe, show some love, and some support. I'll get there with the S's. A lot of S's to navigate. Some support for the channel tonight. It's going to be a bit of Christmas movies, wrestling style, that Kenny can't wait to erupt upon. And then we've got some wrestling news, and we might dive into some of our favorite things of the year. And we're going to let you guys, as usual, have your say at some stage in the live chat, be it super chat, whatever you want to call it. Get involved and get involved with the show. SP3, how are you, man?
I am doing well. Merry Christmas, everyone. It's the Christmas spirit. We're on our way to the most magical day of the year and the end of 2022. So end of year, always a good time for wrestling fans. Where we get along and we agree on everything. Every award at the end of the year, wrestling fans always agree on. There's no arguments involved.
Do you remember on Wrestling Daily when you said, right, that you and Steph said Thunder Rosa should be the wrestler of the year, female wrestler of the year,
Jesus
right?
Christ.
And this is when Sasha Banks had the killer year, right, with Manias and Hell in a Cell. And I said Sasha Banks, and I was like, you can't have Thunder Rosa, who'd had I think she'd had the lights out match, and you mostly Steph went mental at the idea that I said that. It's not the same. I'm still standing by that statement today. I don't care. Kenny, how are you, brother?
Today's a real struggle, a real fucking struggle, and I'll tell you why. So
because SP3 made it that way.
Well, I watched Santa with Muscles. I tried to watch it yesterday, and I got 40. Because the thing is, I've tried watching this movie for years, and I can only get 25 minutes in, and then I think there's a life to live. I can't do it. But yesterday, I got 40 minutes in, and I was like, I can't do 50 more minutes of this. I'm out of it. But then today, it coincided that for Patreon, every month, me and Sondra and Finn Martin of Power Slam fame get together and review the retro pay-per-views from 20 years ago this month. So in one sitting, back to back today, I watched the 3 Stages of Hell match with Shawn Michaels and Triple H right in to part 2 of Santa with Muscles.
Oh, indulgent.
And I'm going to tell you this, Santa with Muscles, which is, I think, the worst movie I've ever seen, felt like it lasted less time than the 3 Stages of Hell match. Fuck me. I mean,
but to be fair, that is the Goldberg Brock Lesnar WrestleMania 2017 compared to the Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah.
It was short in comparison to the Hell in a Cell match a year later.
I'd love to know what the shortest ever Triple H Michaels match is. It can't be sub 20. Even their shortest, surely.
I know. It's just grim, though. And it's like, I'm supposed to be festive today. I'm with my pals. I'm going to be chatting wrestling. And instead, I've got to talk about one of the worst movies that's ever been inflicted. No, do either of... I'll wait. I'm going to spoil stuff. I'll very get to it.
SP3, is there a match that you wanted to bestow a star rating upon this week as well?
I got to put a star rating on FTR Briscoes 3 from Final Battle to 2022 because that's the type of professional wrestling I love.
Yeah. Oh my god. I caught I didn't catch the pay-per-view live, but I caught up on it. Oh boy. I got, for some reason as well, I love that a tap out to the swing. Like, could take no more.
I saw people freaking out over it, and I loved it. I like it. Like watching it in the moment and then talking to people that were there live. I was jealous of them watching it live because I would have been like, what the hell happened? Because I caught the tap out. But if I'm there live, you're not going to see that tap out. So that's crazy.
It just, he was dizzied into submission. He couldn't take any more. I'm a sucker for things. I wouldn't have called that, right? Which is something that I always personally love. But
Yeah.
I love that Jericho now just berating people on Twitter who are
who hate what he does. He's like, fuck it.
Have you ever seen this? Is glorious. Have you ever seen his King of the Ring 2002 online dissertation?
Yes, I have seen this. Yes, yes. Is it the match he had with RVD? Is it RVD? Has it? With?
Yeah. And like,
yeah.
It's fine. Like it's fine. But like I think he thought it was great, and then people didn't think it was great. So I think somebody's got it on Reddit, and it's like him just basically tearing apart. Like, you people don't have any right to decide what's good if you don't think this masterclass was the pinnacle of what was going on. Listen, a couple of grey gooses. You say anything?
Oh,
I was about to say a couple of boys. Listen, we're all a bit Jericho sometimes, aren't we? Somebody comments on it. Somebody comments on your work, and you're like, "Hey, man, fuck you! I thought this was good."
But this is June 2002. Jericho's a little salty after the end of his title reign and having to walk a dog and be second fiddle to Stephanie.
Would you not be salty? I'd be salty.
I'd be salty too.
Exactly.
And then I feel like I have a great match a few months later, and everybody's like, "Oh no, I wasn't that good." I'll be salty too.
This is what I'm saying. We're all a bit Jericho. I mean, I don't think my missus is, but still, we're all a little bit Jericho.
It's funny because remember I said the other week about how I'd put that tweet out about the Bucks and the CM Punk thing, whatever, and then somebody had like responded being like, "You're supposed to run a magazine." Right? That's got nothing to do. Like,
you can't anymore. You can't.
I know. That's me.
All credibility's gone.
I know, but then there is the people go, like somebody said, how can somebody like you put Jim Cornette in the cover? And it's like, well, pretty easily, to be honest. But also the highest selling issue of the year by far.
Really?
Wow. Because people want to hear what he's got to say. But also, look, the fact that I'm friends with him in real life and he's very supportive of my gay lifestyle doesn't fit with the narrative that people like to have. So
they tell you about.
Oh,
someone
can I just say, see when you're gay and straight people decide to ally on your behalf and tell you what you should feel? It's so great. It's like, it's so good. I'm sure it's like SP3 just having somebody tell them why Black Lives Matter. It's like, oh, great.
Yeah.
That's let me know.
like you have to make sure.
Because also, see, gay people don't really care about like what can you say? Like, we've heard it all. But yeah, it's just very funny to me that it's like, he once said a homophobic slur. It's like the Briscoes, right? They're not allowed on Warner TV, which fine, debate it if you want. But I know of plenty of wrestlers who are on Warner and who are on WWE who have said and done way worse stuff than the Briscoes. So it's like, it's just because they're hicks that people decide they're going to just like, But
he said Hicks, SP3. I know Hex was tough for you to break down there, but he said Hicks.
Heck.
Yeah, heck.
One of the Briscoes, to prove that he has matured, should just fuck a man on camera, and then he would be allowed on Warner, right? Like, that's it. Just be like, look, it's the only way to settle this. Certain people need to see you inside another man. That's the only way you're going to solve this. Otherwise, homophobe for life.
I mean, it's gonna become like a base, the baseline of are you acceptance or not? Are you gonna get fucked or not? Like, come on. I've got nothing to bring to the table in this debate. I'm a straight white man doing okay. I've got nothing. I've got nothing.
I've got no silent. Those wild
I'm not allowed to say a thing. I'm not allowed to say a thing about nothing. I am the worst.
Who are you out?
Oh, well, you got Briscoes embrace, acting like black guys from a AAU basketball court. That's pretty much their persona. They dress like white rednecks and they act like black kids from AAU camp. So I can understand that double standard. So if he said something about gay people, then he should probably get fucked on camera. I agree.
There you go. There you go. Well,
I like the argument from Kenny.
We've
I love
set
that
a precedent now.
I was trying to be polite and say he could fuck a guy on camera. No, you're saying a guy will fuck him on camera.
That seems appropriate.
I think I think that's the real test, is it not?
Do you remember the first time I came on with you two? You two were so like, oh God, what's Kenny saying? Look at you two now. You're like, make him fuck someone. Make him take out the arse. You two have changed.
What a hot start to the show that is.
It is a vodka matty, by the way. My 10-minute delay.
Diet Coke, of course.
Yeah, well, look, it's empty calories. Who's wasting 150 calories just for full fat?
Me, mostly. But, you know, doesn't matter, Kenny.
You've got those guns.
Pumped up.
It's all bought and paid for. Welcome, everybody, to Monday Night Live.
That's the most dad banter you've ever done.
Exactly. That's the point. What did I just start listening to? CM says, yeah, a lot
Sorry,
is what you just had to digest. But alas, we do have other things on the show. Let's jump into some news before we pivot to Kenny's misery. SP3, why don't you kick things off with some of the latest topics?
Well, one of the latest topics is actually something that Kenny suggested, something that you agreed with just a few weeks ago. WrestlingNews.co reported today that Triple H has a lot of the top matches already set up for WrestleMania 39, and in particular, the one that's been getting a lot of talk on the social media world is that he has penciled in, as of right now, Gunther versus Brock Lesnar for WrestleMania 39 in Los Angeles. So, Kenny, what's your thoughts on Triple H watching Inside the Ropes Monday Night Live and hearing that idea from you?
Look, I knew he was a smart motherfucker. But no, that's the match. That's the match to do. We've seen Lashley. It's been done. I don't want to see him in there with Logan Paul or John Cena. Get two big meaty men slapping meat, and yeah, it's going to be great. I mean, like, you can already imagine Brock trying to get to Imperium to get to Gunther. And then, like, it's going to be so good. Like, I have no doubts about that match whatsoever. So I'm very glad they're doing it.
I'm looking for it on Twitter, but I tweeted that this would be when Walter at the time was making inroads. I was like, him and Lesnar. Like, just imagine, like, Lesnar, the man who didn't want to do fuck all with John Moxley, right? All of a sudden, he gets paired with Gunther, and then Lesnar's like, okay, mate, what's your stuff? Well, listen here, Brock. You're gonna love this, I promise. Like, I just want to see that. I just want to see Brock, like, not submissive Brock, but you know, him take a bit of a slapping. Yeah, well, you know,
I mean, that didn't make it any better, to be honest.
It doesn't, to be honest.
It's become very sexual, this show. I apologize, everybody.
Listen, sex sells, apparently. We had some strong ratings last week, so it must be going somewhere. But still, I have thought for a long time, like, not only would that be like an incredible way to get Gunther to the next level, but it's just a position we haven't seen Lesnar in, right? And knowing how destructive Walter is, Gunther, I just think it's the fresh pairing that could bring a new lease of life to both of them. So, like, another level for Gunther and a new kind of coat of paint for Lesnar that's been tarred with the Reigns brush for the past however long. Not that's a bad brush, but it's just nice to see something new, right? We were all begging to see him in a fresh new feud. I think that's an incredible matchup. Don't know how much stock to put into who's reported it. I know that all of us want it to be true, so that kind of gives it credence, I guess.
But also, there's the element of how many, like, SP3. Can you think of any other wrestler who is younger and newer on the main roster that Brock could go up against that you would believe it's a fair match?
Yeah, Gunther is the top of the food chain. Like I said, since he came into WWE, I would say every year he's been here, he's had a match of the year candidate or the match of the year outright. In 2019 against Tyler Bate in Cardiff, 2020 he had the empty arena match with Ilya Dragunov. Last year he had the rematch with Ilya Dragunov, and then this year against Sheamus. Having him go against Brock Lesnar, it doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes. It's going to be an outright beating on both ends, and that's the type of spectacle you want from a Brock Lesnar match at this point. The only reason I thought that they were going to do the Bobby Lashley Lashley thing is because they kind of left that open-ended, but they can kind of settle that if they want to do a rematch at Royal Rumble or something like that. But my real question about this matchup is if the report we take anything with it with a little bit of weight. Is it going to be for the Intercontinental Championship, or is Brock Lesnar going to be the vehicle to get the title off of Gunther?
I had a little booking idea of how you can make that match not for the IC title if you want to, but like just have Gunther eliminate Lesnar in the Rumble, and then have Gunther defend the IC title in the Chamber, and have Brock come out from under the ring, cost Gunther, sets it up, and then you can
easy
get it off. Because I mean, if Brock wins, he's not going to be fucking doing the IC title run. So, like,
it doesn't need a title, that fight. It's just two big motherfuckers, right? You don't like. It's not about. It's not about. Oh my god, like who's going to win the Intercontinental title? It's about two behemoths that you've never seen go at it before, and like Lesnar has been this incredible force for the entire duration of his WWE run, essentially. I don't think anybody's ever batted him around, even if the commentators would have you believe, like, oh my God, the Big Show is, come on. Like, nobody has really given it to Lesnar, where Gunther, well, the violence he exudes. We all know it, right? It's at a level that's preposterous, to be honest, in professional wrestling in many ways. And to see Lesnar be on the receiving end of that, it's money. It's
but
easy
the key
money.
is, if Gunther drops the IC title, you have to do it in a way like that Chamber thing where he's not just like losing somebody. Yeah, there has to be like a protected finish.
Yeah. I mean, they could find a way. The other thing that I think potentially gives this some legs is I could believe Triple H is meticulous enough to have planned out his WrestleMania card.
Yeah.
The takeovers are always pretty well structured when you think about it in terms of where they were heading to. And even with some of that, he had to pivot, right? Because we know what he wanted to do with Gargano and Ciampa and how all that played out, right? Maybe whatever. But still, the plan was afoot. And I can believe for his first WrestleMania in charge, I could definitely buy that he's got his headline matches kind of either penciled in or sewn up.
I want to ask you guys both a yes or no question. December the 12th. You need to go with your gut here, and hopefully you both have a different answer. But do you think The Rock is wrestling at WrestleMania?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Yes,
I'm
most
sure
definitely.
one of you said no. Okay, wait. Okay, you two say yes. I will bet you. I mean, I think he will as well, so it's not really good.
You're just trying to make it fun.
Yeah,
will I just give you both 20 quid for nothing?
Don't put yourself into a hole.
We'll
We'll find another one.
I'm going as far as say on December 12th, 2022, The Rock will win the Royal Rumble. That's how confident I am, because I'm used to it. I'm not like everybody else that's annoyed by that, because I'm sorry, I've lived through 10 years of them using the men's Royal Rumble as just a vehicle to create their title match at WrestleMania, and that's all it should be. It's all it should be. But you guys are outthinking yourself. You're like, oh, well, Cody can win, and then Roman, part-time tribal chief, can work on both days of WrestleMania. No, he's not going to do that.
I will just say,
oh, well, interesting.
Meltzer did put in the Observer this week that the pencil is Roman working both nights. So what do you do?
No, he actually followed that up. The next sentence was Triple H is likely to not do this. That was the next sentence in the report. Everybody clipped one sentence and just forgot the next sentence. Triple H is likely not to do that.
It's not off the table, though. That's the question. Like Louis was calling people delusional last week for thinking that Roman could work 2 nights. It's not unconceivable. Let's not put it in that spot.
I can't remember if I said this to you before, but I was thinking, see if you could spend a full-time job saving Louis Danger tweets, right? Where he says things like, you're delusional if you think this, or you're absurd if you think this. And you could like stack them and then have a full-time job responding to, you got this wrong, you got this wrong, you got this wrong, you got that, like constantly.
Yeah. In the past few weeks, I have admittedly screenshotted 3 or 4 things that he said.
Somebody needs to.
Just waiting. Just waiting. If The Rock doesn't win the Rumble, he's going to get it. If Roman works both nights, he's going to get it. Like, because it's not the fact that he had a different opinion, or that he's
the delivery.
It's the delivery, right? Like, it makes everyone else sound stupid. Like,
do you know
how could you possibly think that? think,
There's been times where I've been in front of wrestlers, and even like I'll give you an example, right? I probably shouldn't even say this, but I'll just so Regal, right? When I was with Regal, the first day we did the tour, and most of the time, so we were backstage, right? And I went, listen, if somebody asks a question about the Punk scrum, do you want me to not ask it, or do you want me to ask it and you can give a line and move on or whatever? And he kind of said, well, there's nothing I can say. Like, it's a legal thing. I'm not allowed to say anything. And then he kind of went on this like 5-minute thing about how, well, you're in this world of the rumors. You're in that world where people who actually weren't in the room have somehow got a better idea than me who wasn't in the room, and kind of goes on for like 5 minutes. And I was trying to be like, legit, I'm not a journalist. Like, I've never claimed to be a journalist. Like, I do journalisty type stuff, but I don't go, hi, I'm Kenny McIntosh, I'm a journalist. And he was like quite, what's the word? He wasn't blunt because he was very polite, but he was very much like, it was an intense conversation, right? But we walked away from it totally fine. I would love to see Louis in front of anybody of note, because he would shit his pants before, because he wouldn't have any of those opinions in person to those people. Because when you're confronted, it's happened to me before, when you're confronted by people in wrestling, it's very different to you just writing on something about, this is going to happen, and you're dumb if you don't think it, because they can tear you down in 2 minutes.
Oh, absolutely.
Wrestling is full of...
I fear the day that Louis has to be in front of anybody he said something or tweeted something about. But as far as Roman working both days, the reason that I'm strongly against it is because Roman's going to win both days. That's what's going to happen, because May 27th is 1,000 days as Universal Champion. He's not going to lose the title at WrestleMania. They for historical reference and WWE merchandise, you think they're not going to let Roman Reigns get to 1,000 days? Is just short of 1,000 days?
I think it's something to consider, but I don't know if they would base their whole, you know what I mean? Like the climax of the reign, I think if it makes sense, it makes sense. But
they've been basing the whole reign on getting to this match with The Rock.
Yeah,
that's the main reason it's gone this long.
Yeah, because it was meant to happen 2 years earlier, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But there's so much that can, like, so say Cody was to win the Rumble, right? Like, there's so much that would depend on how Cody's run does between Rumble and Mania for them to even consider putting the belt on him. So, like, I feel like so much stuff can change. I mean, you are probably right. He probably will keep the belts, but if Cody's hot, or like, this is what they're not going to do, right? But I would love them to do it. So I'm not thinking they're going to do this, SP3, before you think I'm outthinking myself, right?
Yeah.
But like, if Sami Zayn was to win the Rumble and he was the one to face Roman Night 2, that would be amazing. I know it's not going to happen.
No. But that's the right move. Everybody's saying Cody. That's the right move. That's the Bryan Danielson.
And then what you do is what I would even do is I would have Cody come back and have him be like jealous that like Sami's basically kind of got it. Like, then you've set something up post Mania. But
I've said this for infinite time. Like, you go with the hot hand, right? Like that's my thing in wrestling. Like, when you feel that swell of momentum, go with it. Don't fight it. Well, yeah, but don't outthink it and be like, oh, you know, and if we just hold this, because sometimes, you know, WWE in particular, they just get too cute and they think, like, I don't know, Zack Ryder is a terrible example as well of that. But like, when you look at this, Sami Zayn is now in that space of overness that when Cody Rhodes comes back, he's been unseated. He's been usurped. Cody won't come back as like equal hotness, in my opinion, right? Yeah. Like, Sami is kind of the law of the fans now. Like, the journey of Cody, the whole thing is to get what his dad didn't, right? But now people want Sami to have that, right? They don't want Cody to have something that... So you've got yourself in a weird spot, which, again, probably wasn't something that they anticipated. We know it wasn't what they anticipated. So now it's like, okay, you got a decision to make. I agree with Kenny, and I know SP3 does too. Like, that is the hottest story they can tell when it comes to the title.
And the loophole...
It's the best they've got.
Loophole... There is a precedent, ladies and gentlemen. 2008, John Cena won the Royal Rumble, and instead of taking his title opportunity, he said he wanted it as soon as possible. He didn't want it at WrestleMania. He took it at Elimination Chamber. So with that precedent in mind, Sami Zayn can win the Royal Rumble and have it in Montreal in his hometown. He could just say that. If you don't want The Rock to win so bad, all you fans, that's the best solution. It's not Cody winning. I feel like Cody should not win the Royal Rumble. If they're going to bring back Money in the Bank at WrestleMania, it needs to be a big guy that wins it. Cody should win the Money in the Bank at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think for Cody as well, like you said, the map is just a bit, and that's the same thing what Kenny said earlier. For Sammy, I don't think they're going to do it, right? As much as I think it's the best story they've got and the hottest angle, they're not going to do it. They've already got what they've got. Montreal being that middle show as well. Clearly, they're going to pull the trigger before then to lead to that. It just kind of leaves you in a weird spot. And I do understand the whole like building to 2 programs for 2 different nights, and WWE historically don't juggle particularly well these sorts of things. Well, I don't know, Kenny. What do you think in terms of where are they going to go with Sammy and the Cody problem?
I think Cody's the one who's in the hardest spot at the moment because, so like the Rock thing. Let's touch on that for a second. The Rock thing, I get why some people are like, oh god, like he's going to come back and it's going to be because he's not the Rock anymore. He's Dwayne the Rock Johnson, and they're 2 very different performers, right? It's like we're here to make memories. You make memories when you're not telling us you're making memories. Like, remember when he came out with his big dick fire gun at WrestleMania 32? Fuck off.
Yes.
I mean, it was just
36-minute entrance.
And I love The Rock. I love the WrestleMania 30 appearance, 31 appearance. Love them. 32, Dying of Fire. But I think that if he comes back, I don't want to see him beat Roman Reigns because I feel like it's just going to be this like it's going to take us back to that whole 2014, 2015 type stuff. So my hope is that Triple H uses the fact that we're all kind of on edge and gives us something that would make us happy. So I think they need to do Rock and Roman because if The Rock's going to come and do a match, you fucking let him do it. But they just need to. He's going to put over Roman, I think. So the bigger question is, what do they do in night 2 that satisfies everybody? And the thing is, they're going to have to decide in like a month. Is it Sammy? Is it Cody?
I got it, ladies and gentlemen. I got it. I think I solved it.
Okay.
Cody wins men's Money in the Bank on night 1 and then cashes in on Roman after he beats Rock on night 2. If you want Roman to drop the titles at Mania.
You also have to consider Steve Austin looks like he's going to be at Mania, right? Like, is he not main eventing one of the
night
nights?
1? He's main eventing night 1. That's why
this is what I'm saying.
Cody and Roman.
This is what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Like, it's a whole. And that's kind of backwards, isn't it? Austin and Rock main eventing Mania 39. Like, fucking hell.
Triple H has got a lot of pressure on him for this WrestleMania season. I said this a few times, like, because this is his first one. This is going to be like the, what are the memories of the first Triple H WrestleMania? And hopefully it's not, because so many Vince WrestleManias had like, maybe like a good moment, but then there would be like bad aftertaste. Like I remember being in New York for the Raw the night after Mania in 2013. I mean, WrestleMania 29 is the worst WrestleMania I've ever been to. It was just diabolical. But on the night after, I didn't know Ryback had turned heel in the arena. We were all just cheering that he was beating up John Cena. We're like, yeah, fucking Ryback, class. And then we're on the way back in the train. Somebody was like, oh, can't believe Ryback turned heel. And I was like, he what? And I was like, they've turned him heel?
Yep.
I mean, Ryback's a cretin, but I mean, could you have booked him? I think if you challenged yourself to book him worse over that 5-month period, you probably couldn't have topped it.
I am no fan of Ryback, but my word, he wasn't done any favors. And he was red hot at one point. You can't deny it. Just to circle back to The Rock, one of my main... everyone knows.
Because you're a Rock guy.
I'm a big Rock guy. Huge Rock guy. So I think a lot of people confuse why I don't want to see him win the Royal Rumble. Part of it is exactly what Kenny just said. It's not The Rock that, I was incredibly adulating as a kid, but mostly it's given me memories of Rock Cena, right? I think it was 2013, is it 12? So 13 then, where Rock beats Punk for the title, and it's like, wow, gee, I wonder who's going to win the Royal Rumble, or the other way around, whichever it was. Cena. So the main event you're getting. We all knew that. Right, everybody coming up to the event knew that was happening. I can't stand it, right? Like it's okay when you can telegraph something and the ride's amazing and you have a great time. Okay, it's fine, but it's better when you're surprised. But for a major decision like this, which is going to dominate months and months and months of TV, to just know The Rock's going to win it, right? It just takes the shine, and then we know we're going to WrestleMania where he's going to put over Roman. I just think, I just can't be arsed. Like it's not the story that I'm looking for. Like, and it's going to play out, and they're going to make out that it's like the great. On paper, it is this generation's Hogan Rock. It is in many ways, right? Which is so poetic that The Rock is now on the other side of that coin, and all of that great stuff. But it's still so lazy if we just have him come in the Rumble and go, oh well, yeah, as if he couldn't get to Roman any other way.
There is one other thing we need to consider as well. This is the other curveball: is what if they decide to split the belts?
But again, that's a whole nother conversation we have to have about how do you do that about hurting the other belt?
But you know what I mean? Like that's if they decide to split the belts, it changes the whole dynamic because then it's like it's not just one thing; it's two. And then how do you get to and that whole thing? So, I mean, I'm more optimistic this year about this kind of stuff than I would have been under Vince McMahon. But I've got the little SP3 on the side of my head going, "Don't fall for it."
Yeah,
don't you dare!
Don't you dare fall for it!
Fall for it.
No, all I would say about the title splitting, I think they could have done it so long ago, and the Money in the Bank was the perfect opportunity. If you wanted the Money in the Bank off of Austin Theory, that was your kind of your little loophole to get out of the double titles. Is you could have split it up and had Austin Theory only cash in on one of the championships and not both of them. Because he's an idiot. Because you already set the president he's an idiot, so he could have went for one of the titles and not both of them. And that would have been your solution. But I think they blew that. And I think they don't have any time before the Royal Rumble to kind of solve that situation. Unless we're going to do it, between the Elimination Chamber and stuff, then I feel like the whole road to WrestleMania is going to be very convoluted if they try to split the titles as well as build to a whole event. Nah, I'm good. I don't have no faith in them.
Or what you could have done is you could have split the belts at Clash at the Castle and not had Drew McIntyre doing karaoke with that big fucking egg.
I said the solution before Clash of the Castle. Austin Theory cashes in on the WWE title, and Drew McIntyre hits him with the Claymore. 1, 2, 3. You get your big pop for the hometown hero. He walks out with a title. You could have had the moment with him with both titles, and then the next Friday, Paul Heyman says, well, Theory only cashed in on the WWE Championship, so you are only the owner of the WWE Championship. And then boom, you're solved. You're good for WrestleMania. We wouldn't be having this conversation or this dilemma about The Rock winning the Royal Rumble if they would have done that, but they didn't, and now it's too late.
Can I? I don't even know if this is on the docket because I just turn up like Brock, not really knowing what's going on. But can I ask you guys your opinion on a little news story that piqued my interest?
Go on.
So AEW, right? Dynamite, top tier show for AEW. They've got Rampage, and then right down here we've got ROH, which is now going to be available for $9.99 on the Honor Club. Thoughts?
Oh, I won't be paying for that, but. I'm sure some people will. It's a good show at the weekend.
Is that not? I mean, SPD, you seem. I don't want to typecast you here, but you seem like the most Ring of Honor-esque person.
I am.
Right?
I am.
Which is not a fucking big stretch, and then we have no honor. But isn't it? This is wild, right? Like, what do you think of it?
All I will say is when he announced that, I was just like, I felt like a girl on the hottest date of their life. They're on a date with Brad Pitt. They're feeling all moist and ready, and then he pulls down his pants, and it's a limp penis. I felt so flat to that announcement. I was like, Honor Club? If you're a Ring of Honor fan, you have nightmares about Honor Club. Honor Club is a horrible app. It doesn't have all the best years of Ring of Honor on it, and it still doesn't, from what a lot of people said about this soft launch. And just putting, like Kenny kind of put it out there, you have AEW Dynamite, been giving us the best wrestling television for the past 3 years. You got Rampage, which has been losing viewership every week. It still has pretty good wrestling, but it's been losing viewership every week. Then you got Ring of Honor, and you're going to expect people to pay $9.99 for that?
Same price as the network.
That's a lot.
And you're not including pay-per-views? That was the blow of the.
They're
of
not.
all. They're
No.
not including
90 days
pay-per-views.
after.
Pay-per-views will be on Honor Club 90 days afterwards. They're keeping the pay-per-views on Bleacher Report. There is no reason for anyone to get Honor Club. I'm saying it here as what Kenny said. I'm the biggest ROH fan on the screen to you people. Don't get Honor Club because they don't have the best. They don't have 2007. I saw Bryan Danielson almost get his eye popped out of his head in 2007 in Manhattan Center. They don't have none of that on Honor Club. Don't get Honor Club. Don't do it to yourself. Don't spend the $9.99. Save your money. You'll be all right. Watch AEW Dark if you're gonna do that. That's free.
I feel like all of that is correct, but the one thing that was probably a bad example was, you said you feel like the girl on the date with Brad Pitt. If we're talking Ring of Honor, you're on a date with Danny DeVito. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not like
Ring of Honor's not Brad Pitt. I mean,
Ring of Honor's not Brad Pitt.
You're going on a date with Danny DeVito, but you think he's Ron Jeremy in the bed, and then you're just disappointed.
Yeah, flaccid Brad Pitt
for every time.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's a fucking. That is a horrible deal, by the way, and even more disappointing. Right? Like, I mean, I don't know. He's obviously trying to offset a cost somewhere. That's what it sounds like. I don't know. He's obviously tried to get the TV deal, and this is him accepting defeat. I think Tony Khan's done an extraordinary job since AEW launched, but this seems like the first kind of L that he's really had to take. He must have believed he was going to get a TV deal. He must have.
On what planet can anyone with a brain think that the Ring of Honor stuff that's been featured so far, they would want to, like, Rampage doesn't do very well because he doesn't put anything worthwhile on it. So Ring of Honor was never going to happen. And then he's put himself in this position where he can't put the pay-per-views on Honor Club because the only way he's going to make any money or like make this close to a profitable thing is to have a pay-per-view once a quarter so he can make some money out of it. But, and then, I mean, Dave Meltzer said they should film it at Dynamite. They probably should. I mean, so
they already filmed Rampage there, don't they? Like, no, that's
well, they were doing more this year as far as like Friday live Rampage. That's the way to go because it's just night and day doing a live Rampage and not doing a live Rampage. You could tell from the opening second the difference, and they tend to do better with the live Rampage in the ratings than the tape Rampage.
Like I would say like 7 times out of 10 it's filmed after Dynamite, right? Like and you can tell because they're setting up like the promos in Dynamite. Of like, obviously they're already there, right? So they're like, oh, we're going to be on after the show. It's based to the crowd, I guess. It's like the dark portion almost of the thing. I think you can tell.
But so see at the moment, right? So one of my jobs is for the. I've actually got it here. Let me pull it up just for a quick plug. Got the Inside the Ropes Wrestling Almanac, which is of course modeled after the Back to the Future Almanac cover, of course, because I'm cool. But anyway, part of what we need to do every year is have all the results for the TV. So I have been collating all the results for 2022 for Raw and SmackDown, Dynamite, everything. So I've got the names, the time codes, So the one job I left till late because I just couldn't face it was the AEW Dark results. And I can't describe to you how much I hate Tony Khan for this.
There's like 17 matches a show.
Yes. Let me read you. Let's just read a card, right? Hold on. Here we go, right? This is an hour of my life that you expect me to do when there's fucking 95 other hours of television. This is the card. The Butcher and the Blade and Private Party in an 8-man tag against Jobbers. Oh no, I'll read the names.
Come on.
Come on. You gotta at least be creative and say Joseph, Jeremiah, Jeremy, and
that's Louis Dangour.
Jobber.
That is Louis Dangour.
No, because I know that I'll end up not saying something. Do you not know he's a fucking IWA original? So anyway, the Butcher and the Blade Private Party against Braden Lee, Isaiah Broner, James Alexander, and Sam Moore. Anna Jay against Megan Myers. Love her work. Best Friends against Ren Jones and Rohit Raju. The Dark Order against the Wingmen. Marina Shafir and Nyla Rose against Heather Reckless. And Joseline Navarro. Chris Statlander against Sierra. The Trustbusters against Sonny Kiss, Javier Walker, and Zach Clayton. Athena, 2 more. Athena Hikaru Shida and Ruby Soho against Emi Sakura, Leva Bates, and Serena Deeb. an
pretty
Orange
good.
Cassidy
That's
against
probably
Anthony
good.
Henry. Get
I bet that 6-woman tag was pretty good.
Yeah, the 6-woman tag
I
and
bet it
Anthony
was.
Henry,
I'm not joking. I bet that was pretty good.
and
on that
Anthony
card.
Henry versus Orange Cassidy was probably good.
But like, who's got time in their
No one.
calendar of a week
No one.
to get
That's
to that? And also, it's the equivalent, right? I used to work in TV, right? And in TV, you start at the bottom, and you need to make teas and coffees and just for the chance that you might make it up the ladder, right? This is like being on Dark is like you have to go to the factory where they make the tea bags to produce the tea that is sent to the place where the runner makes the tea for the person who is a producer who has to answer to the. So that's how far down the pecking order it is. And
Did you say you had the timings, Ken?
Yeah.
What was the longest match on that show?
Okay, let's see. It was actually that 6-woman match, which was 8 minutes and 8 seconds.
Christ, how long's Dark? An hour.
I mean, no, this must be longer than an hour. It must be like 90 minutes.
It's
Fuck
usually
me.
an hour and change. Yeah.
Hour and
Yeah, I mean,
change,
but, like-
14 matches or whatever it was. Like, Jesus.
I mean, it's like I used to think those poor bastards in NXT UK had it rough, but now we've got a new mob to feel bad for. So that's one of my new jobs, is writing those fucking results out all day. Fuck.
All right. At the risk of us going like 7 hours tonight, let's talk about movies. Before I let Kenny go off here, I want to let everyone know that Ahead of Winter is coming this Wednesday. I spoke to Ricky Starks before coming on air tonight. A nice 15-minute chat that you will be able to find on Inside the Ropes this Wednesday. I have WeTransfer open, Kenny. It's coming to you. You will see it on the Inside the Ropes YouTube channel, so make sure you give it some love and watch. Ricky talks about, obviously, the promo last week and nagging Tony Khan to finally get the chance. And boy, did he take it when he got it. And he even gives some insight into what Tony and MJF thought.
That
about
promo.
Very good.
My God.
Electric. That was a
It's
star-making promo.
The police are turning up. It was that good. Like,
Yeah. Scott Steiner. No, but Ricky does go into great detail though about like the promo and him saying that he read some people saying that he talked too fast, and he explained why like that was ridiculous. Basically, it's good. It's really good insight. So if you guys want to know more about Ricky Starks ahead of his big show out performance for AEW this Wednesday, make sure you check it out. With further ado, Kenny, give us the review we've been waiting for. People don't come for SP3 stars tonight. They're coming for muscly Santa, whatever the fuck it is.
Santa with muscles. So I'm just going to read you the Wikipedia plots, right? First, so we know what it's supposed to be, right?
Ooh, hang on, this is a very important question before you do this. Very important.
Hulk actually has 2 doggy advent calendars.
Two!
Really sad. He's got a chocolate one and a biscuit one because he is a prick.
Is dog chocolate's a thing? Is it? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Okay. No, so he's poisonous.
It's not very nice.
Dog. Oh, okay.
I'm kidding. I'm not trying it. Right. Okay. Here we go. This is the plot of this movie. Blake Thorne, which is Hulk Hogan, is a conceited self-made millionaire who sells bodybuilding supplements and equipment that has his picture on them. One day,
what about Blake? What about Blake Thorne though?
One day, while recklessly playing paintball, he is targeted by police. He's chased to a shopping mall where he hides by putting on a Santa costume, slides down a garbage chute to escape the police and bangs his head, resulting in amnesia. Mistaken by Lenny the elf as the mall Santa, he begins to think he really is Santa Claus. Meanwhile, the evil scientist Ebner Frost, played by Ed Begley Jr., tries to take over an orphanage in order to gain access to the magical crystals underneath it, and dispatches his henchmen to destroy it. But Blake discovers that being Santa has made him a better person and tries to take him down. I'm not reading this. This is the worst movie I have ever fucking seen in my life. Hulk Hogan is an abomination, right? He has got worse. Like, Santa with muscles should be brought up to the Supreme Court and banned for any... Now, so here's what's bad about it. This is
it's very real. It's
a real movie. Santa with muscles, good. And the thing is, I was looking for the cover today to put on Twitter. It's had a Blu-ray release. Who the fuck decided, oh, this needs to be on Blu-ray, right? Mila Kunis is in it as a child. Clearly
really?
slave labor, right?
Wow.
She's one of the
what
orphans.
A hot start. Yeah.
And right, I'm not being funny, right? But the children who are supposed, so these are the remaining 3 children who have not been orphaned. They managed to find like homes for every other child. Now there's a wee ugly boy. Yeah, I get it. He didn't get a home, right? There's a wee cunty blonde-haired girl, right? And I mean, she couldn't act her way out of a paper bag. She's just like nauseatingly, that like really shitty American style of acting, but that really like it's a sitcom and there's a laugh track every 2 minutes for something that's never funny.
Yes.
That little girl is in it, and then Mila Kunis, who I mean, maybe I'm just giving her a pass because she's Mila Kunis, that she's not as bad as everybody else, but the children are terrible. Hogan, he was better in Suburban Commando, and somebody asked me this, and I swear to God, No Holds Barred should get an Oscar nomination compared to this. It is. It's so bad. And then right. So this is. Do either of you watch that '70s show?
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I've never watched it, right? But so in the movie, there's the elf, right, who ends up taking Hulk Hogan and making him be Santa, right? And he is the worst actor. At one point, he goes to take because he steals Hogan's like wallet, right, to go and try and take money out of his ATM because he recognizes he's this famous rich person. And he goes to the ATM and like it doesn't work, and he goes, right, and just does this like really bad acting. And I'm like, right, this guy, who's clearly the worst guy in the film, and that's a big feat, right? I was like, this guy must have never acted again. He had a fucking starring role in that '70s show for the whole season. His whole 8 seasons. He played Bob, the dad of somebody.
Yes. Donna's dad.
Fuck
Donna's
me.
dad.
I mean, so I once had a stomach ulcer after puking up blood in a hospital, and I felt more relief when this ended than I did from that hospital stay, which during that hospital stay, somebody tried to steal stuff from my locker beside my bed. This film makes Tommy Thingy in the room look like credible acting. Like, Hogan is abysmal. And the other fuckers that are in it, like, how are these people paid to act? I mean, it's just so. I mean, it's not even so bad that it's good. It's fucking terrible, and it makes me want America to not exist. That's how bad it is.
I want to know if that Blu-ray did numbers. That's what I want to know.
Well, apparently the That 70 Show producers was watching because they got 2 of their cast members from the movie.
2.
But Mia Kunis, yeah, she's in it.
But I mean, I wish I had it. I'm trying to not be too offensive about it, but there's just really ugly people in it, right? Like there's just really ugly, shitty people. And like
this is the analysis.
And
this
then but there's a great bit, right? Where so Hogan, when he first becomes Santa, right? The scientist villain. Oh, I forgot about him. He's got like a hairline that you would not wish for. But he's just like skulking about all the time, going hello, and he's horrible, right? Then there's a woman who's got like an electric rose.
I kind of want to see it.
Oh no, yeah, for 5 minutes. But then I swear you would not be able to handle it. But so Hogan becomes Santa, right? And he appreciate the £2, so Hogan becomes Santa, and he's not quite sure of his whereabouts yet, right? So he gets told, right, you need to go and sit in this mall throne thing and be Santa, right? So then he just sits this black kid on his knee, and he goes and looks at him like he's an alien. I turned around to my other half, Steve Gunn, and went, that didn't age well, did it? And there's just moments. And then and then near the end, one of the plot twists is that Hogan, so in the orphanage, there's a woman that of course he's going to fuck at some stage, and the children who he will not fuck. And he's racist, but he's not pedophile. So
I would hope so. Sheesh.
What a Christmas tale.
So then there's an old guy, an old African American gentleman who is just very nice throughout the film. He's like a helper at the orphanage, and then towards the end, Hogan figures out who he is, and at the end he decides he's going to save Christmas, right? So he goes back in, and then the old guy goes, "Come here, sit down." So he goes, "What is it?" Because he can't fucking act. So Hogan's sitting there doing that, and the guy goes, "Look at that photo over there," and it's 2 kids. And he was like, "That was you." you used to live here at this orphanage. And he's like, did I? Right? So now apparently he lived at the orphanage, and he was like, and see the bad guy, he was your best friend. And he's like, oh, I think I remember him now. What?
I just realized who the older black guy is. It's Garrett Morris. He used to be Stan on Martin. Yo, he used to be Jamie King's uncle on the Jamie Foxx show. Yo, Garrett Morris he's a black all-star. Shout out to Garrett Morris.
Well, he was one of the best parts of this film.
You tied it together.
And the fact, but then also because they want these stupid fucking crystals, right? That are all underneath this set of houses in an orphanage. Then you've got Ed Begley Jr., if you look him up, you'll recognize him from stuff. He's in a hazmat suit, running about, and Hogan's like, oh, we were best pals when we were younger. What is this film? You know when there's a film where Hulk Hogan made somebody shit himself and did push-ups that made him look like he was wanking, and that was one of his better films. That's
SP3, do you have anything to add to this?
I want to watch this movie now since Garrett Morris is in it. Garrett Morris, he's an all-star in my opinion. He's a part of two of the greatest black sitcoms of all time, the Jamie Foxx show and Martin.
If you two want to watch this film, I really encourage it, right? You will both tap out before the end. I guarantee it. But I want you to just be honest about how long you lasted. I want the time code that you lasted till, and see who can outlast the other. It's on YouTube.
Iron Man match.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Well, how long is the film?
It's an hour and a half.
Next Monday, SP3.
There we go.
Let's do a watch along.
I'll not be here, but you guys go for it.
Yeah. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start 8:30. 8:30 start. We're watching the film. There you go. It's done.
You should do it 100%.
Because we can't tap out. We can't. People are going to have to enjoy the misery.
Oh, that's a great idea. Oh, please do it because it's so abysmal. It's just. I think I would rather, and this I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I think I'd rather fuck a woman than watch that again.
Me too, Ken. Me too. SP3, we're on the home straight of the show, brother. Why don't you give us your star ratings for the Briscoes and FTR and quickly tell the people, as you do so, the criteria.
Every week we do it the same. You got crowd and stage, so the audience responds to it, if it's a pay-per-view, if it's a show, whatnot. Then we also got the in-ring work. We got, of course, what the action is in the ring, the build up to the matchup, the build up within the match, storytelling, and the finish. So FTR versus Briscoes 3, final battle, crowd stage. I thought this crowd was amazing. Anytime AEW Ring of Honor is in Texas is always giving a big response. Athena, Keith Lee got big responses in their home state earlier in the show, and they were electric for this, like, holy shit chance as soon as the bell rings, and then just the intensity of the matchup. They just grew in response. So that's a 5 for the crowd stage. It was a pay-per-view, a Ring of Honor pay-per-view, so it's a step down from an AEW pay-per-view, but still it's a pay-per-view. It's a big stage. Final battle does have a lot of history within Ring of Honor, so I give it a 5 overall for the crowd stage. In-ring work, that's another 5 right there, because these 4 men just went out there and beat the absolute holy hell out of each other. One of the best bumps or wince-inducing bumps I've seen all year is Mark Briscoe taking a flat back flip bump off the top rope down to the floor on a pile of chairs. I was like, ow, he's going to feel that for a couple of days. And then, fighting throughout the crowd, just the in-ring work was just superb in this matchup. So that's a 5. Build up is where I'm not going to go a 5 with, because there was no build up. And but you also have to give them credit is that they have created this great rivalry that seems to have this electric response from the crowd, whether it's, the response after the match or the crowd within the matchup. And they've done all the build up for this rivalry within the matches. So you have to give that some credit. I won't go all the way with the 5, but I'll say 4 for the build up, because within the
4.
matchup,
That's
the matchup,
high.
a
That's
build
really
up
high.
for the build up within the match. That's what I said.
That makes no sense.
The build
That's an
up,
oxymoron. Build
build
up
up-
within
That's
the
the thing. I
match.
always do that sometimes. Come on. 4.
Yeah.
The
Nah,
Gun
come on,
Club
man.
made
Come
this
on,
match
man.
on
They-
Dynamite.
Yeah, a
4.
week. Like I'll give you like I'll let you have like a 3, right?
The
Because
Gun
there's
Club took a
history.
stalker out, and you're giving it a 4. My God,
I'm not talking about the build up
The
in
build
to
within
the
the
match.
match.
I'm talking about the build up within the match.
That's what the criteria is. The build up to the
the
match.
match.
You can't
All right.
move it.
So, all right,
You
I
can't move it.
will meet y'all. I will meet y'all halfway. I'll say 3.5. Say 3.5.
Okay, given
Then
that we
he's
would have
still
probably said
outraged.
1, 3.5 is not in the middle, but that's at least we got.
Yo, you said 3. I heard you
I
said
said-
3.
I said
didn't say
would,
3.
I
Oh,
would,
he
I
said
would have
3.
taken the 3. I would have
He
taken
said
the
3.
just
Three is
because
like-
of the history of the matches, right? And we're leading to the trilogy. That does count. But when you talk about momentum, build up to the match, which the criteria is, come on, man. Like the week, and it was the Gun Club just making it. It's not a good build. It isn't.
No, because it was no build to it. It's just they made the third match and people were into it. And then the build up in the matchup, the crowd got more into it. The violence got more. That's what I said.
I did just
4.
want to-
But I'll meet you in the middle, 3.5.
are not. We it's not our place to tell you what your opinion should be. I just want to clarify that. I'm just saying you were given build for something that was not fucking build. That's the reason we got involved there.
I specified. I'm not
You
talking about
specified
the
a
build
made
You
up
can't
build.
say
I said the build up in the
in
match.
the match. That's
That
not a
doesn't
thing.
exist.
That's not a thing.
That's like saying what would you give the build up to Rock and Hogan? I'd give it a 5 because when they locked up together.
Yes, absolutely.
No,
Absolutely. They did the
yes,
stare
no.
down. They did the
That's
stare
in the
down.
match.
And
The match.
they hated each other. He hit him with a car with the
No, that was good build.
The semi. Don't dispatch the semi now.
exactly.
Come on, that's different.
Exactly. It's a 7.
Well,
It's a 7.
that was the
All right,
best
so we'll
acting
go-
of Hogan's career. That when he looked in the ambulance and he was like, "Oh my god, we heard him, guys! Guys, we gotta go. We've gotta go." Please,
I love that
continue.
nobody remembers that Hogan pinned Rock with a leg drop clean on the Go Home Raw. Like nobody remembers that.
Yes, no one
As a whistle.
ever brings that up at all. But so we'll go 3.5 for the build up. Storytelling, I'll go 5 once again because the storytelling in the matchup was amazing. Just the final moments with Cash Wheeler kind of desperately, frantically trying to get to Dax Harwood after he took the suplex on the pile of chairs, and then he gets locked into the crossface with the chain across his face up. Like that type of like body language, facial expressions. It had the crowd, it had us watching at home. So I give that a 5. And like I said, that was the finish, and that's a 5 as well. So everything except for the buildup was a 5. So the rating overall, fuck a buildup. I'm going 5 stars. It's a 5-star matchup. It's a 5-star matchup. Come on. It's not their fault. It's not their fault that
You know
Tony
what?
Khan can't get the Briscoes on AEW television. I have to give it to the performers involved. That's a 5-star match. That's the perfect type of dog collar match. That's the greatest dog collar match I've ever seen.
Do you know the
You're
compliment I'll
getting
give SP3 is he's on one hand he's talking absolute shite, but on the other hand, see that big cheeky grin. I can't resist it. I'm like, yeah, you give that 5. On you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, it's
Take the
your-
Gun
it's
Club,
your-
building up
it's
my
your-
Christmas stocking.
He's making a
Go ahead.
mockery of our system, but it's your fucking system. You're getting more Meltzery every week with your
Yeah.
carte blanche criteria.
No, he'll
Right.
release an edit tomorrow that he's changing his ranking tomorrow morning.
But it is a great match. That much we can agree on. Guys, thank you very much for joining me tonight, SP3 and Kenneth. I think we should finish on a fuck, marry, kill, should we not?
Well, we should also
what have we got up in
mention,
Christmas sleeves.
since it was in the opening graphic, I did peep Gabe. Sasha Banks having dates locked up for New Japan Pro Wrestling. It was first reported by PW Insider that New Japan was bringing her in for New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom 17 on January 4th. And then Wrestling Observer further kind of exploded upon that and said that there's multiple dates booked for Sasha Banks in New Japan, and that as of right now, she is reportedly done with the talk and negotiations with WWE. It's not saying that it's off the table that a deal will be done, but as of right now, they did not want to meet her price tag. Apparently, she wanted to make more than any other women's wrestler in WWE, which if I'm WWE, why are you not doing that? But I always said when Sasha first left that she should leave for a while because that will raise up her price tag. And I think her going to New Japan seems like a no-brainer. It's just going to rise her stock and rise that price that WWE seems to not want to meet her.
She's going to have some time to go and do some cool shit. Like, seems like she's wanted to do it for a while anyway. It's cool with me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, not that she needs to run it by me, but I mean, I think it's cool that that she takes this opportunity. It's like a window, right? Like WWE is still going to be there. Go do your thing.
But let's not underestimate how clever this is, because basically what she's doing is she's going, I'm going to go to Wrestle Kingdom, create big waves, and up the because if you're Tony Khan and you want to save that burning building, a couple of like really good people in it, like you're going to want her, right? But then WWE, it's like you're going to want her as well. So I think that she's doing, you know, they can say, oh, she's got dates locked in. She's going there to increase her value. Now that might end up that she wrestles matches, but I think she's making a really shrewd move.
Like, I think she's one of the few people around, particularly women, that Tony would throw. He would pay the ransom. He would throw the money at her to get her. And knowing that she's on the block, mate, it's going to be it's a very interesting bidding war to kick off next year.
And you have to think about it from what Kenny said with who you're losing right now, as far as not William Regal, of course. CM Punk. CM Punk is the Michael Jordan of angst-riddled wrestling fan bases. And if there is a LeBron James to angst-riddled wrestling fan bases, it is Sasha Banks. And that's the type of fan base that you want on your side when you lose a CM Punk.
But and I just want to say this. I think if you're Sasha, right, because I know there's a lot of people who want her to go to AEW because they're annoyed at the WWE run that she had and all that. The two things I would bear in mind is with WWE, what they can say is Vince isn't here anymore, and he was always the cause of your problems, so we can fix that. And maybe they say, look, if you come back, you've got the Bayley match at Mania. You've got it. Like, we're gonna, give you the red carpet treatment. But also, if she looks at AEW, are there a lot of success stories of people who've come in set from WWE? Saraya, I mean, she doesn't really seem like a massive star right now. Ruby Soho, Toni Storm, like, I think there's pros and cons to both. So I think that she's, if she takes that deal from Tony Khan, is she going to be as big a deal as she goes there, as if she's WWE? So I think it could go either way.
Well, she might sort out a short run in AEW. You never know. Like, there might be like a short term
Cody Impact deal.
Could be.
The smart money is to do a 1-year deal because 2024, both WWE and AEW are going to have new TV rights contracts. So if I'm Sasha Banks, I would do kind of the per appearance deal, do like a couple of dates for New Japan. And if AEW is willing to pay the price tag, her being Saraya's partner in LA is kind of like a big jolt of a jolt in the arm that AEW really needs. If they wanted to do that, negotiate a deal like that, WWE getting her back, her being at the Royal Rumble, all those things are possible. It's looking like Sasha Banks is going to be the female wrestler of the year right now.
But I mean, that's the other thing. You got to look at it with WWE and the new power, and this ties in, right? William Regal is going to be in a very strong position within the company, right? He is a huge proponent of Sasha Banks. We know that he's fought for her to get a job there in the first place, and she considers him a close friend within the business. Triple H, another man that really gave her all of the great things early in her career and pushed her towards it. If there were two people that would want her or she would trust to work with, it is those two. So, and WWE have got the money. It's just a case of coming to terms, I guess. But that is one thing working for those who want to see Sasha back in WWE, landscape couldn't be much more favorable with those two at the helm. So I think it's criminal that she was never really viewed on the same par as Charlotte. And when Becky ascended to where she did, Sasha, we saw during the pandemic and the ratings and all the stuff that she brings to the table. But then you looked at how WrestleMania was this year, and she was kind of put into that tag team with Naomi. Not that I didn't enjoy it, but it just told you where they were, right? They already had Ronda and Charlotte. Becky and Bianca, and Sasha was a bit of an afterthought for me. And they just kind of go, what can we do with Sasha? That's how it felt. That's how it looked. And she deserves far more better than that. She is equal, if not, whatever you want to say. She's in that top bracket. She should be presented as such. We need to wind down.
It's even those that tag title run very quickly. Like when they won those tag titles, there's no tag division. So no matter what you do, you're just giving them titles that they're not really going to be able to defend. And like, it was exciting to see them with the belts because they were passionate about it, but like, it was never going to go anywhere. So
she was always going to get frustrated. It was always going to happen, right? Like, because they couldn't follow through on what she wanted. Simple as that.
Yeah,
and she didn't want much. She really didn't want much.
I think it's very telling that WWE hasn't reached her price tag, and I know that there's a lot of stuff that Triple H can say. I'm in control now, and it's going to be different now. I'm sorry, I can't really say that it's that much different right now in WWE for the women. They get more time in the ring. But as far as like camera time, I don't think it's that much of a difference from the Vince McMahon stage from this. And a Bayley WrestleMania match, you don't think Sasha Banks looking at Bayley's booking and being like, maybe I might wait a little bit. I think that also can be in play as well.
Yeah, she is legit. But I think for every pro you could give to one, you could give a pro to another.
It is.
Like it can constantly go back and forth. So. And I think a lot of the price tag, that may be one element of it, but the other element is going to be, do I want to go back to this situation where, again, I will be, let's be honest, I'll be branded the angry black woman. That's how I'll be branded if something happens. Whether that's true or not, that's got to take a toll, especially if you're someone like her. So I think that I get why there'd be trepidation potentially to go back.
And that's why I always said her going back, it's not the best look for her because she's done this before. It's just like, oh, Sasha. And if she winds up leaving again, it's just like, oh, Sasha's doing this again. Like, it's not the best look to go immediately back. That's why I like her taking dates from New Japan.
Kenny, fuck, marry or kill the NWO.
Which version?
The original 3.
The original.
What year are they in?
96.
96.
Okay.
It's harder than you think. Yeah, because it seems obvious because it's a trio.
I'd probably fuck them all. I think. I think I would.
Razor Ramon in 96.
This is easy for me.
I'll be honest. I think I would have to kill Scott Hall. Apologies.
Oh.
I would need to. I would fuck Hulk Hogan, just for the power of the dynamic of it, like
childhood. Yeah.
Because also I would, and what I would love to do is somehow orchestrate it that when the last moment is about to happen, if you get my drift.
Yeah.
I can just hit Real American when it comes crashing down, it hurts inside. Right? So that would be that. And then I would marry Kevin Nash because let's be honest, Kev's away a lot. He does his own thing. I can do my own thing. I can get on, I don't know, whatever Grinder was in 1996. Do my own thing. And when he comes home, we'll pop open a wee vino, a wee glass of wine. Happy days.
He was Big Sexy was a good-looking man in his heyday as well. Let's not discount that.
So if I had to give one for you two now, I'll give one. I'll give one for each of you actually. Okay, so
doesn't want me to go to bed.
SP3, SP3, Nick Khan, Tony Khan, Triple H.
Nick Khan, Tony Khan, Triple H. Oh man, that's a good one. That is a very good one.
Present day.
I would have to marry Triple H because I'll be good for life. I can take care of my kids even outside our marriage. I would fuck Tony Khan just to shut him up, put something in his mouth. And Nick Khan, I'm sorry, you gotta die.
Oh my god!
What is this show? What is this? I remember when Kenny was talking to me about doing a show. I remember those innocent times. What happened? I don't know where we went wrong. What
look, I just did fuck, marry, kill once. I didn't mean it to be a fucking regular segment. You're the fuckers that wanted to do that. Okay, so for you, Alex, let's go. Let's go for Booker T, Excalibur, and Jim Ross.
Today.
Man, I wanted to answer Yas more than mine.
While he's thinking, go ahead, do the NWO quickly.
And NWO, that was easy. I would fuck Scott Hall. He's a bad guy, and he's oozing my machismo. That's the type of joy I want in my sex life. Big Sexy, I agree with you. He's the type of man you want to marry. He's away a while, and he's called Big Sexy. He's called Big Daddy Cool. That's the type of man you want to marry. And I would kill Hulk Hogan in 1996 to save everybody the pain when he comes out as a racist a couple of years later. There you go.
I mean, you're doing a great service to black people as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm doing God's work.
It's a real win.
I'm a real American.
Mid fucking Scott Hall. I mean, it's great. It is great. God, mine's really hard. I don't really want to kill any of them.
And just so we know, usually I don't even refer to him as that name. I refer to him as Terrence from Florida, ever since he revealed himself as a racist.
All right, listen.
Has anybody seen the clips from Hogan Knows Best of Hogan with Brooks' gay friend?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Oh.
Where on the gay, spectrum, mate? He's like gay.
Oh, it's so good. And then when he decides, the other clip when he decides he's gonna suntan naked, and Hogan's just like, "You like that, brother?
Doesn't work for me, brother."
Right, go ahead.
I'm gonna marry Jim Ross. That's gonna happen, right? I'm gonna come home from a long day at work. And, my God! Oh, Alex is home! Oh, he's walking! He's talking! He's coming through the front door! Oh, he's on the couch! I killed him! Oh God, I killed him!
Just imagine the sex life.
You think you're getting that level?
He's killing me! My God, it's great.
You think you're gonna get that level of enthusiasm in 2022?
He's like, this man has a family.
Jim Ross is the greatest soundbite you can imagine. Imagine that passion. Right. I'd be doing the dishes and shit, and he'd be like, "Wow, what a great worker." Anyway, Jim Ross is getting married for that, right? Just the lineage of his work.
Just the lineage of his work, as you.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, also, I'm a lot younger than Jim Ross. He might leave me the estate. Listen, it's a real thing to consider. It's a real thing to consider. And JR is horny. He is a horny man.
He is.
All right.
Yes, he is.
Why are you trying to get me off JR?
Because it's getting very sexual with you.
You gotta think about the sex life when you get married.
I love the idea that me saying that a certain AEW women's wrestler had the charisma of a lamppost was a problem for you, but you plowing through horny JR is fine.
Listen, I'm giving the man what he needs.
It's good to know where your boundaries are.
Yeah. You feel like you know me. Feel like you know me. I guess I'd fuck Excalibur for Regal. I would just so that we got the payoff we never got. The greatest AEW angle that we'll never know. Will William Regal fuck Excalibur on TV?
And you get to snap, crackle, and pop in his mouth.
Well, that's something that Regal wants me to do. Yeah.
What star rating would you give the build up within the match? SP3.
Oh, the build up to Alex.
No, the build up within, not the build up to.
Yeah. But let me tell you, the finish would be 5 stars, brother. Yeah, 5 stars, brother. Finish.
And then, I mean, there's one person
kill
left.
Booker T. But listen, I feel terrible about this because we was only just I hadn't even thought about that, Kenny.
We just been splitting Hulk Hogan. Now you're just
I'm taking Booker away, making sure there are no more terrible takes on his podcast. Basically, that's the only reason he's getting dumped. But we did discuss on Twitter earlier, 2002, 2003, big Booker guy, huge Booker guy. Triple H is the problem, right? Not me, the killer. It's Triple H. It's Triple H.
Booker T did a phenomenal job on NXT Deadline, especially his commentary for New Day versus Pretty Deadly, where he hated on New Day the entire match. And it was like, why is he hating on them so much? And then the payoff was at the end of the match when New Day won, and Vic Joseph said Kofi Kingston just passed 15 times as a tag team champion in WWE, surpassing who? Booker T. And that was why he was hating on him the whole match. That was great. It was perfect.
Yeah, that was great. I I'm going to change my answer.
I love
I'm not
that you
killing
said-
Booker T. I'm not killing
No,
it.
no.
I'm not.
Who was it he called childish the other day? Look, last week he called somebody childish.
I don't know.
He called
Listen,
somebody-
he says
the
a lot
elite.
of.
He said
he
the
says-
elite.
he said the elite are childish. Is like your catchphrase is shucky ducky quack quack. With
Listen,
a braided
he
duck.
says a lot of wild things, Booker, right? And there's a lot of takes that come out of his mouth that I don't like. But I did really love him as a wrestler. I can't kill a man that commentated.
You've already killed him. It's
No,
done.
he's not. No, it's not done. He's
You
back.
can't take it back.
Excalibur
game-
is
no,
kicked
no,
to the
the
curb.
game-
He's out.
You can't get look.
No, it's not.
If
No,
he-
it's not.
You can't have a go at him for fucking up the star rating system. If you're just going to change the rules of fuck, marry, kill.
Well, we let him keep it, didn't we? So Excalibur's
you
dead.
know, it's Christmas.
That's it. Booker T commentating mid-match TNA. Did you see Kenny Omega do this as well? I saw it on Instagram the other day. It was very, very amusing to me. I just love people commentating, beating up people. So there you go. Thank you to everyone who has stuck with us for these hour and 20 minutes of the show tonight. We really appreciate your viewing. Please do come back next Monday, 8:30 for me and SP3, watching something we really don't want to watch, but we're going to join Kenny and then we're going to have it's going to be the running theme of this show.
SP3 said earlier, oh, I wouldn't be watching that. Now he's watching it on air. Oh,
On
how
air.
the times have changed.
Great stuff, guys. Thanks.
Take that. What a job. What a living you make. Thank you very much, guys. Remember, Ricky Starks is going to be on Inside the Ropes this week. Make sure you check that interview out ahead of or after Winter is coming and his showdown with MJF for the AEW title. Kenny McIntosh in the house, SP3. Guys, start with you, Kenny. Anything you need to plug before we make way?
The Inside the Ropes magazine. So it happens every month. InsideTheRopesMagazine.com is where to get it. It'd be much appreciated if you could check it out. We've got a Patreon where we do a lot of stuff, and that's how we do podcasts and keep the lights on. So patreon.com/Inside the Ropes. But more importantly, just have a really good Christmas if you can. And if you hate Christmas, just watch horror films and eat pizza and just wish death on all the Christmas people.
Yeah, enjoy yourself, whatever you do, basically. SB3, what about yourself, man? Where can the people find you this week?
You can find me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3, the YouTube channel True Hill Heat. I got a new interview with Eddie Edwards of Impact Wrestling dropping this week over there, and you can check me out, everywhere I'm at on YouTube at True Hill SP3 on Twitter.
I also want to mention that Kenny did plug the magazine, and all of the things we discussed with Roman Reigns earlier, I wrote about in this month's edition. Who would be the best to take off the title from Roman Reigns, or is there anyone? That is the problem. That is the conundrum. So anyway, next Monday, 8:30, we will see you here on ITR Clips. I am Alex McCarthy. That's SB3. That's Kenny McIntosh. Everyone, good night.